Welcome back to the pod, baby.
Yo, you gonna start the intro for us? Hell yeah.
Alright,
Um,
alright.
welcome back to the podcast. As Jake just said, we're back for episode number 5, the second episode with Jake, and this episode is just all NFL Week 2 recap.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
all of the games. This was a crazy, crazy weekend of football, dude. Like, holy crap, these games were insane. Um, yeah, so we're just gonna dive into it. We're gonna recap every single game. Some games we'll talk about more than others. Some of them were pretty boring, and there's not a lot that we probably have to say. And then we'll also, give a few players that really shined and some players that were very disappointing. But let's get things
Mm-hmm.
started here. Um, First game on the list here was the Jets and the Browns. I actually wrote down all of our picks, and both of us had the Browns in this game. I think as most people did. Ultimately, the
Okay.
Jets ended up winning by 1 point, 31-30.
Dude,
Last second win.
the ending was crazy.
Bro, the first successful onside kick of the season. The Jets scored a TD, onside kick, no timeouts left. Joe Flacco gets it done. Dude, like
The vet,
this was crazy. This was crazy.
the vet, bro. We were saying last pod, we were saying, how does Joe even have a job? This
Yeah.
dude led them to the freaking dub.
I mean, Nick Chubb had an amazing game. He had 3 touchdowns. But I
Mm,
think the star of the show was on the Jets side of things was their rookie wide receiver Garrett Wilson. 8 receptions, 102 yards, and 2 touchdowns, including um, one that put them over the top and allow them to get that onside kick. Do you think this has any impact? Are the Jets a legit team? Are the Browns dead? Or is this just one of those games that's like, dude, they just got lucky?
dude, honestly, I don't think Jets are gonna be anything. I mean, it's the Browns. Like, they're like an average team at best. Same thing with the Jaguars game. Like, they beat the Colts when like Colts are supposed to be good, whatever. Same thing with the Texans. So I'm kind of worrying for the Colts now, but I think it's just one of those games where it's like things are off. Browns aren't even that good either way. So
Yeah, I mean, this is such a Browns thing to do to like be winning and then choke at the end. So I think both these teams are probably chilling, but they're both probably gonna be pretty bad this year. Next game, Commanders Lions. We both picked the Lions. You picked
yeah,
2 touchdowns. Um,
almost
Almost. It was close. The Lions dominated this game. I think the star of the show was Amon-Ra St. Brown.
my guy,
You want to talk about this guy because he had an insane weekend. I mean,
dude. Saint Brown, dude. He has proven himself this year. He was rookie last year, right?
yeah,
Yeah, so he had a pretty good rookie year last year. It wasn't anything crazy, but he's coming out this year strong. Uh, he had 9 catches for 116 yards with 2 touchdowns. I think it was like 40. It was like 40 something fantasy points. He went off for me, but that dude is moving different this year. He's got speed. He's got hands. He's got pretty good height. So I mean, he's doing pretty good for the Lions. And then Swift, on the other hand, he did average. He wasn't anything crazy, but
yeah. I mean, he didn't have the game that he had in the first week, but he was still a
yeah.
pretty solid player if you started him in fantasy. Um,
Hmm.
but wow, I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown, dude, like when Jameson Williams, the rookie that they just drafted from Alabama, comes back from his injury, they might have a real legit 1-2 wide receiver.
Mm,
Well,
I forgot about that.
yeah, and then you look at the round at their offense too. Still, they got DeAndre Swift and Williams in the backfield, and then T.J. Hawkinson. They just Jared Goff's not even that bad. He had a pretty
Bro,
good
yeah, I was
game.
gonna say low key, Jared Goff, he did all right. He didn't do too
Yeah,
bad.
I mean, he did lead the Rams to a Super Bowl that one year. Um,
Hmm.
Whether or not the Lions are going to move forward with him, I guess we'll see. Aiden Hutchinson had 3 sacks in this game, number 2 overall pick. He shined. Um, and then the Commanders just couldn't get anything going for pretty much the whole game. They started to make a little comeback, but ultimately the Lions beat them out. Next game here, Buccaneers and Saints. We both picked the Bucks, but for majority of the game, this was like a 3-0 game, with the Saints in the lead. Um, Tom Brady, right? In our little group chat messages, someone said
Yeah,
Tom Brady uh, may not be as good of a player as he was. I think that's true. Maybe you
it
could
was
say
me.
that, but I mean, the Bucks ended up pulling away from this game. What do you like? What are your takeaways from this? What do you want to talk about when it comes to this game?
Defense saved him hard.
Oh yeah,
That dude had what? He had one touchdown.
yeah. He has two
I
touchdowns
think
on
he
the
had
season.
the whole season. So I mean, 190 yards. I mean, it's a really defensive game, but still, I mean, you're the goat. It looks like he went for about 50%. He completed about 50%. Um, I mean, the Bucks defense saved them. They had 3 interceptions. They had like 25 points or something on fantasy,
Yeah,
but
they
they just went off. If you were watching the game towards this, I mean, I guess like mainly the second half, they just interception after interception, touchdown. So it really saved them in the end. But it was looking kind of scary at first. So I don't know. Is Brady getting old because that's what people have been saying for 10 years. It's really just like I don't know. People could make that argument though. I mean, there's a certain point where you hit a breaking point. So
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't
I know
know.
some people that are gonna watch this are gonna say that like you can't be saying Tom Brady's washed or bad because like he's the GOAT and like you'd be stupid to say
Yeah,
that. But he is 45. You know, he did retire for like 30 days in the off season. Um, I mean, at some point, you'd think that age and football has to catch up to him. I still think, he's still one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the game. At least coming into the season, they still did get the win. But that Saints defense actually played pretty good too. The Buccaneers dropped a lot of balls. Mike Evans got ejected from the game. He also got suspended for dude. That fight was all right. I mean, it was a little scuffle.
dude. Yeah, I mean, Evans came out of nowhere. Him and Lattimore have got some big beef, but I mean, I feel like I don't know. I don't know if the 1 game suspension is justified. I mean, he started it all. I mean, Tom Brady was talking smack, but that's normal in football. And then Evans came out of nowhere, destroyed Lattimore, which started everything. So,
Yeah, I mean
but I don't know.
that's just like he's hot. They're losing at probably that
Yeah,
point, not playing their best football. That's obviously like a heat of the moment thing. I guess we'll see going forward with the Bucks. The Saints are always a tough team for them. I think Tom Brady should be able to pick it up. I guess only time will tell. Next year we got
yeah.
the Panthers and Giants. Giants won 19-16. Like we said, this is one of those games where it's just going to be one of those mid offs. And that's basically what it was. The Giants ended up pulling away. They're 2-0 on the year. Um, I mean, there's not a whole lot of highlights. CMC had a good day, but Saquon Barkley was kind of mid. I mean,
Mm.
like, what do you got to say about this? This to me is just a mid off, personally.
Yeah, really just mid, dude. I mean, I didn't watch this game really.
Oh yeah,
I just kept an eye on the score, but Mayfield had a pretty terrible game. Jones had a pretty terrible game too. I mean, Chris McCaffrey had a decent game, 102 yards, but he was given 15 carries. So, I mean, same with Barkley, 21 carries for only 72 yards. That's a lot of carries for only
yeah,
72. But I mean, yeah, I guess just a mid game. I mean, two mid teams. So, but Giants are they two? They're 2-0. So
yeah.
we'll see. Undefeated.
Next year, Patriots beat the Steelers 17-14. To me, this is another one of those mid offs.
Hmm.
Mitch Trubisky. I mean, this guy puts up the same stat line every single game. One touchdown and one pick with a few hundred yards. Mac Jones played all right. Najee Harris was a disappointment.
Yeah,
Nelson Aguilar
that's
actually he made a nice catch. Um, what you got though?
15, 15 carries for 49 yards. That's really bad. I mean, a guy like Najee's got to be averaging 5 to 6 yards a carry. So
Yeah,
I mean, at least he did. But now it's just I don't know what happened. I mean, that Patriots D, are they really that good, or is it just Steelers O line, or what happened there?
yeah. I mean, offensively, both these teams like aren't. the greatest, especially
Yeah,
like, I mean, Mitch Trubisky's not a whole lot. The Steelers fans were asking for Kenny Pickett to come in at one point. Um, but like Najee Harris, you're supposed to be one of the top running backs in the game,
yeah,
especially after
dude.
the season you had last year. I think you'd like to get him more carries, but I mean, he was injured earlier in the week. But I mean, this is just not efficient enough for a guy that in fantasy is drafted in the like top 6 picks. Um, Minka Fitzpatrick also had another pick in that game. Next up, Colts get shut out on the road in Jacksonville. They don't score a single point. The Jaguars win their seventh straight game against the Colts at home. I mean,
Uh,
this caught everyone by surprise.
it really did. I really thought. I mean, even though Pittman's out, they had some other guys out. I really thought Colts were going to secure this. I mean, I thought it would be more of a score, like 30-14, Colts win, but Colts just got steamrolled, bro. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, what do you have? 235 yards, 2 touchdowns. 25 for 30, not bad at all. I mean, that's pretty
Yeah,
good. But I mean, sucks for me. I was playing you. Jonathan Taylor got like 6 points or something. So,
yeah.
but
Jonathan, like, I don't know if it's the Colts O line played bad, which the Colts have a really good offensive line. So I guess you could say
mhm.
the credit to the Jags defense. They shut down the best running back in the game, and they got 3 picks off of Matt Ryan. And I mean, to not let your opponent score even a field goal, I mean that's incredible. The Jags may be a legit team this year. You know, they could be this AFC South is horrendous so far. So, the Jags could squeak
Yeah,
out with like 9, 10 wins. Um, I don't know if it's time to panic yet though for the Colts. You were missing guys like Pittman and Shaq Barrett and DeForest Buckner. But next week doesn't get any easier. You're playing the Chiefs next week. So, I mean, if you're going to start your season off 0-3, there's not really any coming back from that.
yeah. Really, if the Colts beat the Chiefs after tying the Texans and losing to the Jaguars, then man, I'm gonna be so mad
That just wouldn't make any sense, but that'd be the most realistic thing to
at
possibly
all.
happen.
Yeah.
This was probably the game of the weekend. Dolphins Ravens. The Ravens were up huge in the fourth quarter. They were up 35-14, and then Tua turned into the quarterback that he was at Alabama. He put up 6 touchdowns in this game for 469 yards. Dolphins win 42-38. What do you have to say for Tua? Like, this is the greatest performance he's had as an NFL quarterback. This is just insane.
This was insane, record breaking. This guy just went off. I mean, I thought Lamar was going off.
Oh
Two
yeah,
hundred seven. I mean, that's just. But I mean, 50 attempts, which was crazy. 36 for 50, 470 yards. I mean, I don't even know. I was watching the game and Ravens were up like 3 touchdowns. It was like 35 to like 14 or something. And
yeah,
then out of nowhere, Dolphins just give them a run for their money with Waddle and Tyreek Hill both having over 170 yards, Hill with 190. It was just insane. So, I mean, props to Dolphins. I don't know how I feel about Tua even yet. I mean, I
yeah,
can't I can't say he's top 10 yet. There's just no way. So,
yeah. He played amazing. Like, all credit to him. Some people though there's still doubt. Is this sustainable? Is he going to be a top 10 quarterback? But I got to hand it to these two Dolphins receivers. This might be one of the best duos in the game of football. Jalen Waddle is, you know, he went under the radar last year. He was very underrated, because Jamar Chase stole the spotlight as of a rookie receiver. But I mean, dude, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, these two are like the fastest people on the planet in the NFL. They're just burning
mhm.
every safety that matches up against them. I mean, the Dolphins, like, if Tua just plays, he doesn't have to play like this every game for them to win, obviously. But if he just puts up, a few touchdowns and just feeds the ball to Hill and Waddle, like, this team's gonna win a bunch of games. Um, like you said, Lamar played great. He actually played insanely well, put up like 42 fantasy points. But Tua kicked it into another gear in that fourth quarter, gets them the win.
Mhm.
Um, all right, this game, a lot of people are gonna start hating on me. I've already received a lot of hate from you guys. Um, Falcons ended up losing 27-31. Actually, only lost by 3 points. They almost came back, but the Rams played some weird, cheeky football at the end, getting a delay a game and then running it out of the end zone. Um, I don't know
Hmm.
about the Rams though. I don't know how to feel about them. Stafford threw 2 picks. Like their defense gave up 27 points to the Falcons. I mean Cooper Cup is the best receiver like in the world, but the rest of this Rams team, there's like to me there's a big question mark.
Yeah, I mean, 2 weeks in a row. I mean, obviously you play the Bills week one, so that's kind of expected. But
Yeah.
week two, bro, you got the Falcons, one of the worst teams in the league, at least from last year, and you almost lose as a Super Bowl winning team. I mean, you just don't really see that. I mean, for the past few other years, when people win in the Super Bowl, um, you don't like you don't just come back and almost lose to one of the worst in the league. So
Yeah, I guess we'll see going forward. I mean, I'm not gonna count them out, but I just don't know if they're like the true contender that they were last year. Um,
yeah,
Next game, Seahawks lose to the 49ers by 20 points. Headline in this one is Trey Lance is out for the season, injuring his ankle. Jimmy G is the starter now. It's a
crazy.
big, like, a big break for the Niners. I mean, Jimmy G played great, but to lose the guy that you drafted number 3 overall is definitely tough.
Yeah, honestly, I think Jimmy G has played better. I mean, just seeing him come in, he was. I didn't watch most of the game, but he was 5 for 6 for like 80 yards when he first came in. Looked pretty solid.
Mhm.
Drove him down the field, but I like Jimmy G. Obviously, he put up a lot of points. Or like at least help put up a lot of points. I mean, sucks for Trey Lance, but um, I expected the score honestly.
Yeah,
Seahawks looked they won first week, but I expected 49ers to bounce back. So
yeah, the Niners are a better team, and like honestly, it sucks to say this, but the Niners might be better off with Jimmy G than Trey Lance, just because
yeah,
Lance was struggling a lot, in the Bears game. He didn't look too sharp coming into this one. Um, so the Niners picked up a big win there, and then this game too. We both had the Bengals in against the Cowboys. They ended up falling short. I mean, the headline for me in this one is Joe Burrow got sacked again, like 6 times. He's been sacked 13 times on the season. He's on pace to get sacked 111 times this season, um, which is insane. Like, they should have beat this Cowboys team with no Dak Prescott. Just a disappointing loss.
dude. Yeah, I mean, I honestly did not see that coming. The Bengals losing to the Cowboys, Cooper Rush. I mean, I guess he's 2-0. Like last year he won, this year he won again. But I mean, props to the Cowboys D. I think they did pretty good. And then I mean, obviously, I mean, it also is because the Bengals line is just so bad. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just so bad. I mean, they with the addition of Lyle Collins, it didn't even do much. I mean, that dude said when he got signed, he was like, "Oh, no one's ever gonna touch you again." That is not the case. So, I mean, sucks for Burrow. I mean, that he's a really good, but no O line.
yeah. I mean, it's obvious that the problem with the Bengals, like who's to blame, is definitely the offensive line.
Yeah,
Jamar Chase was barely even involved in this game. I think that's a problem. He's the top 5 receiver in the game. You need to get him more involved in the game plan at least. But that's also hard to do when your quarterback's scrambling around every 2 seconds, doesn't have any time in the pocket. Uh, Michael Parsons, though, this guy's a baller on defense for the Cowboys. Like,
yeah,
he's a legit defensive player of the year candidate. Um,
100%.
yeah, so I mean, good win for the Cowboys because you think their season would have been over by now, but they get a big win.
Yeah,
Next up here, Broncos beat the Texans. Russell Wilson played very bad in this game, actually. Like, yeah, they got
yeah,
in, but He did not play good at all. They almost lost to the Texans. Like, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, Texans tying with the Colts and then almost beating the Broncos, dude. I mean, there's a lot of questions like, why are you paying 250 mil just to be the last in the AFC West? Like, I mean, this dude was supposed to come in and be a franchise changing for them, but he hasn't shown much, honestly. I mean, he hasn't shown at least what he usually is where at least what he used to be with the Seahawks. So hopefully they can get that figured out. I mean, they got some weapons with Javonte Williams, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, all them, but they just
Yeah.
got to stay healthy. I mean,
Yeah, they're just not flowing together right now, which, I mean, it's still early in the season, only week two. Um, Cardinals beat the Raiders 29-23. This game hurts as a Raiders fan. I was watching this one.
yeah,
This one really pissed me off, especially at the end. Uh, the Raiders,
dude,
dude, this game was just something
what a
else.
crazy ending.
Like how Kyler Murray was scrambling for 85 yards on a 2-point conversion for like a minute. At
Yeah,
some point, you got to sack the freaking guy.
literally for 20 seconds straight, they timed it for 20 seconds, which is insane. Normally, an average football play is like 3 or 4 seconds to get to the quarterback. 20 seconds. I mean, they had two guys rushing, and they're both like over 300 pounds against little Kyler Murray, but still, 20 seconds. He's just taking his time, running around. Finally, swooped around to the left and gets in. But what an ending, dude! It was crazy to see. I wanted the Raiders to win, but I also wanted them to lose because boost the Chiefs' rankings in the AFC West. But I mean, it was a good game nonetheless. Raiders just couldn't hold on, so good for the
Yeah,
Cardinals.
I I'm just confused looking at the box score why Devonte Adams only got 2 receptions and only had 12 yards. With like,
Mm,
why is he not
I
involved?
didn't notice that.
He's arguably the best receiver in the game, and he's not getting any involvement in the game plan. That's a huge problem. You can't be doing that. Um, and then the Raiders couldn't close it out, which sucks a lot. Renfro fumbled to lose the game, so get some better hands. Ball security is important going forward. Bears lose to the Packers 27-10. Justin Fields' box scores are always interesting to look at, like his stat line.
What the heck?
Yeah, it's
Seven
always
for
just
11? What?
I I don't understand. He's an NFL quarterback. He looks like a running back right now. 70 yards with 7 for 11 passing. He's not like, do the Bears not trust him to throw the football, or do they just want him to run every single play?
Dude, I don't know. That's a crazy stat. I wasn't able to watch this game. I just kind of saw a little bit of the beginning, but I expected Packers to steamroll them, but I did not expect Fields to do that bad. That's actually pretty crazy.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers bounced back after that loss to the Vikings. Aaron Jones had a nice game, 2 touchdowns in total, 132
Hmm.
yards. AJ Dillon did good too. Um, yeah, I mean the Packers should have easily won this game, which they did. And then we had 2 games tonight. We're recording this on Monday. The games wrapped up a few hours ago. Um, they were one-sided games in both of them. The Bills easily took care of the Titans, 41-7.
Hmm.
The Bills are the best team in the game, like best team all around. I don't think there's any debate there. Um, Stephon Diggs played out of his mind tonight.
Yeah, Diggs went crazy. That dude, I mean, let's see here. 12 catches for 148 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, that's just insane. I mean, it's just crazy to see. I mean, he's with one of the top two quarterbacks in the league. He's right now he's like what, top two? I think he's behind Cooper. Actually, I'd say top three. Behind Cooper Cup and Justin Jefferson. I'd say he's up there right now, honestly.
Yeah, dude, we might have to do a wide receivers rankings at some point because there's so much talent that it's hard. Like
Yeah,
you can say 10 guys are top 3 receivers. Like it's
yeah, it's
unbelievable.
insane.
Um, the Titans though, this was tough for them. Like Malik Willis
Yeah,
ended up going in. Offensively, they looked like really bad.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. Derrick Henry, terrible game.
Yeah,
I mean, 13 carries for 25 yards is literally the worst stat I've seen in a while.
yeah, especially
That's
for a guy
that, that, that's
that has been
especially for a guy
prolific.
that averages 6 or 7 yards a carry. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. Um, and then the second game, Vikings and Eagles. We both had the Vikings actually in our picks. We thought they would easily win the game. Ended up being the Eagles that won it, 24-7. Just looking up right here, Kirk Cousins' career record is 60-60-2. So in other words, Kirk Cousins is mid, average, mediocre. Um, the Eagles though, dude, where do they rank for you on in like the NFC? What is your take on them after this performance?
Number one, dude.
Yeah,
For me, Eagles are number one right now in the NFC. I mean, they're balling. I mean, that offense is looking super strong. Jalen Hurts has been going off. AJ Brown's looking like a madman. Um, I mean, it's crazy to see. I mean, they were obviously pretty good last year, and I called it in the offseason. I said they're gonna easily be number one in the um in their division. But man, they look better than the Bucks. They look better than most teams right now in the NFC. So I'm going with them number one.
yeah. I mean, the NFC is definitely the weaker conference. Like,
Yeah, by far.
but the Eagles are legit. Jalen Hurts, like this guy is he has the ability to pass the football, throw the football, and make big plays, and then also use his legs and scramble and be a legit threat out of the backfield. And then that defense is really good too. Darius Slay had 2 picks tonight. Um, I just there's no team right now that's better than them in the NFC. The Packers, no. Rams, no team is better than them. So that was a good win for them. And then, so yeah, that's all the games from this weekend. Both of us in our picks went 7-7. We got 7 right, 7 wrong. Uh,
Wow. Okay, that's actually pretty crazy.
yeah, I actually thought like it was gonna be worse for me, especially like with that Falcons pick, but ended up
Yeah.
both going even. Um, so the next game to be played is on Thursday night, which we'll actually do a little preview right now because our next episode won't be till like Friday or Saturday.
Hmm.
So Steelers play the Browns next week on Thursday night football. Uh, Dude, this is gonna be the most lowest scoring game like of all time. This game, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna watch this. To be honest with you, this is so boring.
Yeah. It's gonna be rough. I'm I'm gonna go with the Browns here though. Steelers did pretty good, but I don't know. I'm just gonna go with the Browns here.
Uh, I'm gonna I'm gonna take the Steelers. I don't know. I feel maybe
It's they're just both so mid, dude. I don't even know what to do. So
yeah,
I'm
it's
just
just like battle of mid teams. So I
yeah.
guess I'll go with the Steelers. You'll take the Browns. Um, who stood out to you this week? Who would be like your top 3 players of the week after this wild weekend in the NFL?
All right. Number one, I'm gonna have to go Diggs.
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere else. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go Diggs. That dude, 12 catches, 148 yards, 3 touchdowns. Just an insane performance. I mean, almost 45 points in fantasy. Um, let's see. Number two, I hate to do it. I got to put Tua. That dude had the game of his life. It was an insane game. Um, I mean, there's so many people that went off.
Yeah, it's
I could say
tough.
for number three, I could say Amon-Ra St. Brown, Lamar Jackson, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. I
Yeah.
mean, there was a ton of people this week that just went berserk, but those are the main, I'd say, top five that just went crazy this week.
Yeah. I guess for me too, I'm actually gonna go with Diggs because I just looked right now. I mean, 3 tutties, like you said, 44 fantasy
Hmm.
points. That is, I think, by far the most of the entire week.
Yeah.
I personally almost um, I got really scared when that game was going on that somehow you were gonna find a way, your fantasy team was gonna find a way to come back and
Down 70 points. I was like, oh no, Diggs.
dude,
Put
Diggs
up
might drop
45.
go. Like he went insane. I'd say Tua was amazing, obviously 6 touchdowns. Um, and then yeah, there's too many guys to just cut one like to cut them all loose and pick one. Um, I guess Lamar Jackson, he played insane, played out of his
Yeah.
mind. Disappointing players though. This one will be a little bit better, a little more interesting. Um,
Yeah.
we need a second to look though.
Hey, you go first on this one.
Okay, number one, Jonathan Taylor, 7 points, only 54 yards, no touchdowns, like we said, because the Colts didn't score at all. I guess Derrick Henry's in there because he didn't do anything. Um, Kyle Pitts, Kyle Pitts was supposed to be like the second best fantasy tight end, and the dude put up back to back 3.5 point games. So at least he's being consistent, but he's not being productive. Those would be like my three guys.
Yeah, no, for sure. Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Number one, obviously, I'm gonna put JT. I mean, I know you put him there, but especially for me, dude. I mean, 7 points in fantasy that really sucked for me. Um, Another dud. Yeah, Kyle Pitts, 3.9, dude. That's just. I gotta look at Daniel's team right now because every single one of his teammates. I mean, what his kicker got the most points out of his whole team. Uh,
Yeah, I mean,
But
he's
I mean, I think so. Sorry, but yeah, dude. I mean, those guys, and then Judy sucks for him. He got hurt, but that's not really a dud. Dalton Schultz though, that's an L. So
mhm.
I mean, a
Yeah,
lot of disappointing. I thought Dalton Schultz was going to be top 5 at least this week, but I mean, at the same time, you have Cooper Rush, so you can't expect much.
yeah. Uh, Daniel's team, he always says it's a sleeper team, and they're still sleeping. So at some
They're
point,
still sleeping, bro.
they still be sleeping. Um, that's all we got for the recap of the NFL. I don't think. I mean, I was looking at college football, and I didn't really watch a whole lot of it. And all of the games are like blowouts in college. They're all like 70-0, so they're not really entertaining. Uh,
Yeah,
and then yeah, I mean, the NBA hasn't started, and baseball's in that weird spot where it's almost the postseason. I don't know if you know a whole lot about baseball, anyways.
yeah, not much, honestly.
Yeah.
Mainly football, but I mean, I'll be here for all the football ones, so you
Oh
know the
yeah.
vibe.
Yep. So I guess that's gonna be this week 2 recap. We went through every single game, uh, went over the big performances, the duds of the week, um, and then yeah, so that'll do it for episode number 5 of the pod, the franchise, available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Um, yeah, we'll see you guys later this week. We'll give our week 3 picks, talk about whatever else,
Hmm.
if there's any big things that happen in sports. Um, and yeah, thank you guys.
Peace.